Hello friends, it's Simone, your favorite neighborhood nerd. I want to talk about the 8 pens. Is it 8 or 7? 7 pens that I inked since last Saturday. When we saw each other last, I had just inked this Sailor Progress Slim. And then I inked 6 more pens over the course of the last week. Last one I inked yesterday. And I just want to show them to you all and talk about my experience with them. Now, I am inking each pen with an ink that I had picked, ink sample that I had picked before during the month of February. I had picked the ink samples before I had assigned each ink a pen. So there's no, well, there is some randomness, but it's not any kind of, surprise on the day off. I have made a list and tried to match pens and inks with each other. Well, I hope that worked out. So far, I can tell you that most of these pens and inks work really well together. Not all of them, but my failure rate is getting lower and lower the more I do these experiments. I'm swatching every ink in my ink journal. Then I'm writing the ink name, the pen, and then I use the ink every day. However, I can already tell you that I am not indulging in my hobbies as much as I used to. So most I do is write an A6 page with each pen every day. I wrote a letter last week where I used some of those pens, but it's not like this extensive experiment with each pen. However, even writing just a small A6 page really lets me know if I like what I'm seeing, if I need to unink it, if it's not working out for me, if something is off. And then I come back and write my review on each pen and ink pairing into my ink journal. I give them grades. I give the ink a grade, the flow a grade, or a number between 0 or 1 and 10. And each pen. I've been trying to spread out my pen ratings more since for this round, as I have noticed in the last 2 rounds when I rated my pens that I was I had always very high ratings, and so I wanted to spread it out a little more and find some criteria on why I don't like a specific pen. I also log my pens on this monthly spread, and I try to do this every day that I ink the pens, but to be honest, I'm lucky when I get this done. And so I did not do that, and I thought we can do that together. It's going to be a long video. Buckle in, grab some drinks and snacks, and I need a drink as well. I think the way I'm going to do this today is I'm going to talk about the pens, and then I'm going to film myself putting in these and overlapping the footage so that it's not getting too long. All right, last Saturday together we inked this Sailor Progress Slim Line Friends Sally in fine with Dominant Industry Wonder Pens Ginger Chicken. My writing here, I'm just going to read it and overlap. This color is lovely, but just as so many other colors I have tried, to me it's not worth getting a bottle, as I have tried own at least one color that's similar. The flow and nib are such a change to what I inked in days 1 to 7 that it feels extremely fine and sharp and dry, or so I assume. I like how my letters look with the nib, but it's shocking. The pen would not be in my possession if it wasn't for the color and Sally. I gave the ink a 9, the flow an 8, the pen a 7, because the nib is so sharp, because it's a Sailor Progress Slim, and it's not a pen I normally gravitates toward, and because this was just a weird feeling. Oh, there's also quite a lot of ink here, so that is interesting to observe. I don't remember dropping the ink or anything, so that's need to make sure that I take care of this. But this, to be honest, might be a pen that I will let go of. I have inked another Sailor Fine nib. This is a Pro Gear, however, and the writing experience is just so much better than with this Pro Gear Slim that I think, or I already knew, that they're not necessarily the pens that I gravitate towards. I gravitated towards it because of the design, because of the bright sunny colors, because I loved it. I was at the San Francisco Pen Show, and maybe I shouldn't have purchased it in the first place. But we'll see. I will try this again, and when I'm ready to let go of it, I will. Now, I did want to swatch. Nope. Well, but we can try that too. Nope. So I do have Ancient Copper, and I also have Deep Dark Orange, and I have the feeling that this might be an ink that is very, very similar. Wow. Hello. There's ink on this nib. I can see it. Maybe now. What the heck, friends? There we go. This is a little redder, so I don't think I need to swatch Deep Dark Orange. Wow. If you followed me for a while, I usually and normally don't have that much trouble with my brass nib. I do really want to try a steel nib though, specifically after watching Karina and her like, oh my gosh, this is so much better. I want to see for myself now. But yeah, this is what it looks like, and it's just too close for me to get this ink. Even I didn't really enjoy it as much in this specific pen. Doesn't mean that it's not a good ink. Wow, this is such a great video already, I can tell. The other thing I wanted to say is, oh my gosh, last week I actually really believed, I gaslighted myself into believing that February wasn't written with an R. It was actually the correct spelling, and February without an R is the wrong spelling. Who would have guessed? I definitely didn't. But then, since then, I tried to spell it correctly. On Sunday, February 9th, I inked Teranishi Guitar Nostalgic Honey. Why did I put a question mark behind here? I don't know who I got this from. I think that's the essence of this, with in my Esterbrook Estie honeycomb with a medium nib. Okay, I actually thought I would love the color, but man, this is not doing it for me. I am not sure it's the ink, because the whole experience is disappointing. It might be the Jowo nib. It is the first steel nib after a week of gold nibs, with the exception of the Asvine, and that one wasn't too amazing either. So the flow seems wet enough. I was shortly contemplating whether that might be the reason I'm not enjoying this, pairing as much as I had expected. And then my favorite Estie feels meh. What is wrong with me? This ink I gave a 4. The flow an 8. Here is the nib. And the pen A6, I gave it a 6 because of the nib. I now have more comfy pens than just the Esterbrook Estie, and it falls short on some things in comparison with the other comfortable pens. And because it's just too short, it never feels right unposted. And for some reason, when it's posted, it feels too long. So it's like this tiny sliver here just doesn't, yeah, I'm looking for reasons why I can't like Esterbrook Esties. I don't know what's wrong with me. Monday, February 10th, 2025, I inked this Asvine V126. And this was an amazing experience. I inked it with Color Traveler Sanuki Udon Dashi Gold. This I received as a sample from my friend Amy, and after using this pen, I emptied the whole vial into this vacuum filler pen because I decided that I'm just going to keep this ink in here until I either run out of ink or until I'm done with using it. Did I say that this is a medium nib? I received this as a gift from my friend Wendy Sue of Fountain Pen News. And I know that she said she tuned this nib, but this is an amazing writing experience. It's wet and smooth. It writes in reverse. I think she said she did it as a fine nib, and it does write well. So yeah, I'm just wow. I'm just wowed. The color is just so fantastic, and I'm glad I was able to try it again. It goes down so neon green and then turns to this more yellow green. The flow out of this nib feels great. Wendy Sue said she tuned it, but whatever it is, it makes writing this pen so lovely. I also enjoy the way the pen feels in my hand. Similar feelings towards the piston rod makes it very well balanced in my hand. The ink I gave a 9. And I'll tell you what I don't like about this ink, because there's something about this ink that makes it really hard to read. The flow a 10 and the pen a 9. I'm not sure why I gave this pen a 9. It's just not the best. 10 I have reserved for. This is just the most amazing pen I have in my collection. And I want to distinguish between these are my favorites and these are just great pens. And so a great pen overall gets a 9, and the best pens, the most favorite ones, get 10s. I added below, going to keep this ink until it's done. Vial is empty. So what I don't like about this ink is that when it dries down, it has this really weird shading, and it's so extreme, the shading, that it's so hard to actually be able to, at an easy glance, to read what is written here. Like, compare it to this, even though this wasn't my favorite experience of writing, I can read very easily what I've written. Here, not so much. So that's why this ink is, I wouldn't buy a bottle of this, but the experience of this ink going down so neon and then it's drying to more of this gold color is really fun. Then I inked my other Estie, the Esterbrook Estie Funky Lake, with a Techo nib. And I inked it with Platinum Citrus Black that I received from my friend Nikki. Now, okay. So this ink is so weird and fun, and also completely illegible when writing. It dries to a lovely green. It's quite wet and lovely. I love the word lovely otherwise, and makes me want to try the other platinum black inks. There is like, there's more than just the citrus black. They're all some color black from platinum. This Estie is probably my favorite of the two that are still in my possession. The nib is my Techo nib from CY that I pulled out and I actually really like. Not bad for long form writing and very usable. So the ink is a 6 because when you write with it, it is basically so light that you can't read it. And if you stop in these dim lighting situations, you don't even know where to put down your pen again because you don't really know if there's writing on the page or not. The flow I gave a 10 and the pen a 9.5. Yep, I started using the 0.5 because this is not the best pen in my stash, but the nib makes it almost the best pen in my stash, and so I gave it a 0.5. Yeah, I'm weird. Yeah, totally. February 12th, I pulled out Lennon Toolbar Wenchan Pushong Tea. I received this sample from my friend Marilyn, I believe. I inked my Sailor Yoseka Pro Gear Origin with a fine nib. Here's what I had to say. I don't know if I'm seeing this color correctly, but it reminds me a lot of the Sailor 2024 Pen Show ink. However, I really love how it performs in this pen. The nib is so great, it is smooth, the feedback is still there, but very subtle. I'm enjoying this a lot more than Sally, which is unfortunate. Pushes Sally closer to the chopping block. I'm in love with the pen, I've wanted it for so long, and I'm so happy with it. Ink 10, flow 10, pen 9.5. Why? Because this pen is tiny. Even if it's a Pro Gear, it's still tiny, tinier than most of my pens that I own. It makes it to be quite a comfortable posted full-size pen, but only then. So I always have to post this pen because otherwise it's just too tiny. And the grip section is just a tad bit too narrow, but it's close to 10. It's like 9.95. So I don't want to pull out that Sailor ink right here. I feel like I have another one that is similar, but I don't know which one that might be. So let's see. Is this clean? Nope. I think the Sailor ink has a little bit more sheen, but we'll see that in a second. Okay. No, it's a little more green. So what I'm definitely noticing is kind of that every time I use one of those samples, it gives me the feeling that, oh, I already have a very, very similar color in my bottle stash, which makes it very, it's a good way of knowing, oh, I seem to have a good selection of inks and colors. And I don't really need to add more. Like of those pens or inks that I have in this stash, in this right here, the only ink that I might add would be the Sailor 50 States Texas. And that's kind of like cool, right? So next one is the Waterman Corinne in black with a medium 18 karat gold nib. Your Sailor pens have 21 karat gold nibs. Esterbrook Estie is a steel nib. The Asvine is a steel nib, another steel nib, and then Sally was a 14 karat gold nib. I inked Nagasawa Kobe number 19 Minatogawa Lime. I received this sample from my friend Roxy, and I love this. This color is great. Okay, I like this green, but also not. I think it's too grassy for me to use for a long time. I think. I don't know. It's like, do I need this ink in my stash? Do I not? Do I have like a million green inks? Green seems to be an ink color that I enjoy a lot. The flow in this pen is lovely, wet and smooth. I believe that this nib is quite sensitive to writing angle. This is also quite a stiff nib, but it feels very controlled. Okay, none of this really makes sense. Too tired. Yeah, as I said, I think Thursday, yeah, I had to get up at 4 a.m. to shovel out the car and take my daughter to the airport at 4:45. Like, we left at 4:20, so it's like, and I got up at 3:15. I saw that there was a snowstorm outside and it was like I couldn't fall back asleep, so that's why this happened. I really like the swatch. I think this is a nice green, but again, I do have colors that are very similar, like Troublemaker, Hanging Rice. I think this is a little bit more olive. And then I do have this ink, which is Nagasawa Kobe something something. I need to figure out the name for this. Maya Kaigan Apple Green. Maybe we can swatch this right next to it too. And then I also do have the Lierre Sauvage, where this is a little bit greener, I believe. Yeah, but this one is almost close. The ink I gave a 6 because it's a green. The flow a 10, the pen a 9 because I feel like I'm choking up on the pen. The grip is slippery. Let's swatch those. I think this one is the closest one that I have. Yeah, it's not as olivey, but still lovely. Is there a number on here? Number 82. Water. Let's see what the Hanging Rice says. And yes, of course, they might be different in swatches, but then think about, do I use these in swatches? No, I use these in pens. And yeah, let's put Lierre Sauvage next to it too. So even if it's not exactly the same color, I'm content with the inks that I have. And I don't think I need to add another ink to my stash. I have so many. I think I should use the ones that I have, which doesn't really work out well when you're using samples either. So let's put this one down either as well. This one is the most green of them all. But again, think about what they will look like when they are written with. Well, this one is not even close. I do think that Hanging Rice is closest, and then this one, we'll see what they look like when they're dry. All right, next one is the one that I inked yesterday. I didn't even journal yesterday. This feels like it's not closed. There we go. Yeah, the only thing I did was today I copied a poem. Yesterday, I inked one of my newest pens. Well, yeah. This came in before the Kintsugi. I did not film an unboxing for this video. It's an M800, just like my other M800. I have an unboxing. Oh yeah, it fell. Oh my gosh, friends, I dropped my pen on the floor, but luckily not from such a high, it wasn't a high drop. So the only thing that's spilled seems to be ink, which is okay. You put Nagasawa Kobe number 15 Maiko Green into this Pelican M800 cream blue. I saw this pen first on Brittany's channel. Brittany is Carrots and Olives here. And for some reason, every time she gets a pen, I am very enabled. This pen I saw on her channel, and she pre-ordered it sometime in the summer of 2024 with Endless Pens. And she got it for a fraction of the price, I think almost 50% off what the actual retail price is. And I saw that and I was like, oh my gosh, I wish I had known, because I probably had gotten this. And I just didn't get it out of my head after they shared, there was some sale or something. And I looked it up and I put it in my cart and I added all the coupons that I could find, and it came to a price where I was like, oh, I can afford this if I sell some pens. So I sold some pens and then I bought this, and it was in stock. It was not a pre-order. They shipped it out the next day. I received it quickly and I love it. Let me tell you about this ink and pen combination. This color is extremely fascinating. I love when green inks seem mysterious and have interesting shading. This one reminds me a lot of Diamine Evergreen. What I love about this ink is that it goes down, the shading, especially in this pen, is it's like very light, start at the top, and then it goes down into this, it almost looks dark blue. And wow, I just love how this looks. Look at how it's darker down here than it's up here. And reading about the origin of the ink name, Maiko Kuen is a park with many old pine trees. And I copied this from the Nagasawa product description. This color expresses this splendid pine tree with astringent green. The flow of the ink in the pen is great with good shading. The nib seems to have a sweet spot. Need to explore more. I gave the ink a 10. I gave the flow a 10. I gave the pen a 9.5. This would be a 10 if the nib wasn't sketchy. I need to explore this more. I put it up to a 10 because I tried the reverse, and the reverse writing on this nib is grand. It's smooth and wet, and it's like, how? Wow, look at this. This is so cool. I'm so glad I tried it. This bumped it up to a 10. I just need to spend more time with this nib to figure out if I need to get it smooth. Maybe it's just needs some brass shims in between. Not sure yet. As I said, I haven't inked up this pen yet. This is the first time that I'm inking it. So I still need to spend some time with this pen before I can tell you if there's something wrong, if just my expectation is different. Well, this is darker for sure, but it also is this dark. I think this is a little more interesting, maybe, possibly, if it's wet in the you know, what is she going to say? She doesn't know. I think this ink is a little bit more interesting in the chromos shading when it is pulled out with water. But is this something that I'm going to use when writing? Probably not. So this will do for now. Maybe when this is done, I will replace it with Maiko Green. The possibility is there, but you never know. So let's flip the pages to here. Oh, well, maybe I should take a photo first of this page. I'll be right back. Okay, today is Saturday. I need a card underneath here. I feel like I need to prime the feed. There we go. February 15th, 2025. And the ink that I'm using today, wow, there is some ink down here. Okay, clean. The ink that I'm using today is Jacques Herbin Vert Atlantide. Vert Atlantide. I think you move when there is a vowel in the beginning of the word and it is pronounced the first, then the T is moved over, and so it's connected, Vert Atlantide, but I'm not sure. I think when I'm inking the pen, I will shake it up one more time, but for now I want to smoosh it around. Wow, this is not at all what I had expected. Okay, so I had the green open, but I think I need to, what is this? No, yeah. Okay, I need to move it definitely over to the blue. So this is yellow green, this is green. Is it going into blue greens? Maybe. This is kind of wrong. Is this even in here already? Nope. This looks like vert, but yeah, okay. I'm gonna put it into the blue greens unless I didn't. Nope. Okay. I will put a drop. Where's my pipette? I'm losing it. Ha! Like really, it's gone. Do you? Oh, right here. All right. Sorry for being off the screen. There's too many papers I need to use right now. And then writing. J. Herbin Vert Atlantide. Okay. Oh, I forgot. I usually try to do this when the ink is still wet, because that makes them easier to move. Yeah. I need a little bit more ink on this splotch right here. Oop, nope. It has some shimmer and it looks green-blue. I'm not getting a lot of color splitting out of here. Wow, this is not working. We don't care. We'll just move on. So I'm gonna put on the lid again. I'm using this Skogsy Choya. It says it's a 14 millimeter, and I screwed in my Esterbrook nib with the journaler grind on it. I purchased. Whoa, no! Did you? Oh, there we go. There's ink. I purchased this secondhand from the virtual pen show. I don't know, maybe a year or so ago. Oh my God, I'm making such a mess. Luckily, this was a really good fill, but my cork is also, ugh. Well, this is just how life is. Let me at least shake this. There's not a lot of shimmer in here. That's why I'm trying the journaler nib. I don't know how it's going to perform. Now I'm putting this back into the splash. I don't know how it's going to go, if this shimmer ink is going to work in this pen or not. We will see. That's why I'm doing these tests. I'm only using it for a day, and then I can say, no, it's not working. Let me unink this. Or I'm super excited about it, and then I can just keep on using until it's done. So this is J. Herbin Vert at Longtide, and this is a sample that I got from Roxy. The pen is a Skoxy Choya 14 millimeter. I'm not really sure what that means. If this is, I measured it, but I can't remember. I remember that I found the name of the blank, but I am blanking on it right now. It's an Enigma blank. They're Enigma stationery. Enigma teal, just gonna call it, but I think it's turquoise. And then this is a journaler nib. And this is a hybrid between a stub and a cursive italic. Maybe it's a cursive smooth italic, maybe not. It's just this nib. Oh my gosh, I love this pen. So lovely. All right, this is it for now. I will tell you all about this pen when I come back next week. Thank you so much for watching. I hope to see you again soon. Until then, bye.